Okay, I'm going to be showing how to install a water fridge line. Basically, I've got a 1/4 inch OD compression fitting tubing right here. And I put some Teflon tape on here and then tighten this around. We'll find out later if it's tight enough to prevent any leaks. And then basically got 2 sets of parts here. Got some sleeves and inserts that I'm going to be putting on the back end of my pipe behind the fridge or tubing, and then I got some 1/4 inch union fitting. I would have preferred to got this on its own, but it came together with this pack. Now I made the mistake previously of installing this fitting with a brass nut, and you want to avoid doing that if you're using some plastic tubing. You use a brass nut with the copper tubing. And then, let's see, I got that compression nut on its own, and then put this sleeving on. Make sure you put it in this orientation right here. Let's see if I could zoom out a bit. Instead of having the sleeving placed the other way, the sleeve. And then you want to make sure you insert this right here, insert into the tube. So that's part number 1, 2, and then 3. And now this piece of the union that I have, 1/4 inch, I want to put that on the back end of my pipe that I showed in the beginning, right here. Okay. Tie this down. I guess I'll find out if I should put some Teflon tape in there sooner or later. And now I'm just going to join the 2 pieces together. So I'm going to join this with that nut over here. Now I tried reusing an older sleeve, and you don't want to do that because it wasn't working for me. What the nut does, I believe, is it compresses that sleeve, so it's like a one-time use deal. Now I'm gonna join them together. So now I'm turning it together and joining it up. Am I loosening it up? Yes. No. Alright, so just tighten it together. It's hard to hold the camera and use both hands. So alright, and then tighten it together with a wrench. Make sure it's, nice and snug. I believe you use a 1/4 inch of turner, and then make sure there's no leaks. Okay, so that's been tightened down. And now, let's see what happens. Oh gosh, I got leaks. So I guess that doesn't work. Got the same problem I had before. Okay, so I was able to tighten this down more, and then I opened up the water connection a bit more. Because the problem I had last time was I wasn't getting enough water to the front of the fridge. The glasses were filling up too slow. And then I started getting leaks because I used this older insert with the brass fitting or sleeve. And so I've tightened this down now, and we should be good to go. We're going to test out the water. Okay, let's test out the water. Yep, looks great. And it's working fast too. Okay, I just want to show some alternative methods we could have used to install that fridge water line. Basically, another approach is to install this compression nut on the back side of the wall where the water line was coming from. And got this tubing from Home Depot also. It's a 1/4 inch. And then I like using the quick disconnects. And I would have hooked this up and coupled it to the line that's coming out of the fridge, and that would have been done. So that's another approach. I just don't like, I prefer to use that pipe because it already came with a compression nut on it, and I would avoid having to deal with another potential leak. But in theory, compression fittings aren't supposed to leak, so anyways, that's just another method. Also, the other reason why I used that other line was I had this installed before I moved in our older home, and this tubing tends to discolor after some time. It became a bit red or pinkish. I don't know if it was because of the material, it's polyethylene, or if it was because of the material and the minerals in the water, or if it was because of both reasons. But yeah. But I also noticed the first piping that I was using in the video, it tended to have some white discoloration inside of it, and I think somebody complained about it previously on YouTube. So that's another thing to look out for. They were talking about it changing the flavor of the water or something. So that's another thing to look out for, but I haven't noticed anything yet, and I'm still using it. Another alternative method is the copper piping, which I had installed before. And this was the brass sleeving that I was talking about right here. Let's see. There you go. So that's what you want to use for a copper line instead of that plastic sleeve insert. And remember, I'm just showing this for example's sake. You don't want to use this type of compression fitting. You want to use a compression fitting without this insert inside of it. So let me take that out, just to make things clear. Okay, it's stuck on there. But just for example's sake, yeah, you don't want that fitting inside there. You just want a compression nut on its own. And then on the other end, you would just use a quick disconnect or another compression fitting and a union, and just hook it up to the water line on the fridge. You probably don't want to use this with the copper wiring, because I tried it before, and you have to keep it really rigid and straight. Otherwise, if it tilts a little bit inside that quick disconnect, the water's gonna leak. So you want to avoid doing that. So you could just use another setup like this over here, you know, instead of, but you'd be of course using the brass nut and this sleeving right here, or this insert right here on the other end, and then join it with that union that I showed earlier in the video, and then couple it like I did in the beginning of the video with the rest of the fridge line, or use the disconnect, you know, whichever way you prefer. Now what I would have liked to use but I can't find anywhere is basically a hybrid of this coupled with this. So the other half of it would be a male connection, a male 1/4 inch compression fitting with a 1/4 inch quick disconnect joined together. But I can't find anything out there like that. The only thing I could find was it was a 1/4 inch NPT, I believe, to a quick disconnect, or even that was rare. I can't remember. But yeah, so another alternative, if you have an older home, is to use this, which I got with the kit from Home Depot, is the saddle valve. And I wanted to avoid this at all costs, because you're actually going to be piercing into one of your copper pipes at home, or any other type of pipe you may have, and then you would join this with the compression fitting union, and couple these together, or you could join it straight together over here, right? Yeah. And then you would just turn on the water and go at it. But problem with this is, you know, if you're moving or something, you're gonna have to either lock it up from a nut right here, or take it off and then come up with some way to prevent any leaks from that pipe. So I wanted to avoid this. I ended up finding this. Got this adapter from Home Depot, 1/2 inch 1/4 NPS, and basically I had sink pipe coming out from here, joined it with that, and then I connected it to the remaining portion of the sink pipe, and got this part all the way from the UK. I couldn't find it here anywhere, not at Home Depot, not any other hardware store. Basically converts the 1/2 inch 14 NPS connection or is it? No, it's a 3/8 NPS, a 3/8 connection right here, and it hooks it up, and then I put a cap right here at the other end, and put a quick disconnect pipe there, or I hooked up this piping right here to that quick disconnect connection, open up the water, and there you go. Avoid having to use this thing right here, the saddle valve. So that's another alternative. But yeah, I would prefer to use the first method, and possibly a hybrid connection of these two. Hopefully somebody will make it out there someday. Okay, hope that helps.